Hello everyone, this is Aditya and welcome back for another video on Detroit. And before I get into the details, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Hit the subscribe button for awesome content regarding real estate investing and realtor journey. So this is the continuation of previous video, Detroit Part 2. So today we're gonna talk more about how to purchase a property, what kind of legal things involve when we are purchasing a property in Detroit, because especially if you're Canadian, there are many questions I have asked by many other investors who are in Canada. They want to know, how to set up is it a good idea to have a LLC or corporation, or what kind of things involved. So let's find out from an expert rather than me telling what to do, because I haven't done any properties here. So, and along with that, we're gonna see Savio's finished product, how it looks like inside, outside, and the streets. So let's get the Savio in.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Thank you, Aditya, again for having me and joining me on our street tour of Detroit. So I think you asked the one burning question that everybody asks. Like, how do we do business in Detroit as a Canadian, right? Or anywhere in the U.S. I can tell you what I have done. Now, be very sure that I'm not a lawyer by any means, nor am I a tax accountant. I pay a lot of money to the professionals, my power team, who handle that stuff for me, and this is what I've been advised. So basically, what I have is a holding company here in Detroit. It doesn't take too much money or effort to actually do that. You can just Google setting up a company in the US. You will find, of course, all the Google ads pointing you to different lawyers. I would suggest in the start you do go for a lawyer to handle that business for you, just to set up a company, because there are some technicalities that you have to be worried about, right? So fast forward this long story. I have a holding company here in the state of Michigan that is actually owned by my incorporation or Canadian corporation, right? So what that allows me to do is basically two things. One, it transfers funds easily from one company to the other, because they have a management agreement between the two companies. And two, it allows me to work here in Detroit. Okay, the fact that I have an entity here in Michigan, in the state of Michigan, that is owned by a Canadian entity, and the fact that I'm a Canadian director in that company, I am allowed to work in my subsidiary company, right? I have something that is called an E1 visa, work visa, which is a renewable visa that happens, that I can renew every year. The criteria for that, again, don't ask me about the specifics. One thing I do know, that compared to all other work visas in the US, it's probably one of the easier ones to get, and it's also one of the easier ones to fulfill the criteria, because you don't have to have full-time employees, right? The fact that I use subcontractors, I show invoices to the IRS that I paid American labor force to do work. I'm employing them that way. That gives me enough credit to actually get this type of visa, right? So again, talk to your immigration lawyer, talk to your tax accountants on how exactly that works. But it's not a big deal. I think it took me 3 months before I could purchase my first property in order to get this set up. But in those 3 months, I was not wasting time. I was coming to all the meetups here in Detroit. I was meeting people. I was making contacts. I was making the networks, which we talked about in the last video, which is super, super important for any kind of investing that you do in any place that you do, right? So it's not a lost time. You can still come and you can do the work before you actually do the work, right? So I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's a big question even I had. Like, I was thinking, but I haven't pulled any trigger. I was procrastinating on that part about Detroit, because all these question marks. And I'm glad you raised, and you gave us super insight into it. So overall, it's not a biggie. Just talk to your professionals. You'll find a way. That's super important to know. So now, which street are we heading towards? Like, which area?
Okay.
You have the
So we just we talked about the good places to invest in Detroit. I mentioned Bagley. We were in Bagley District the last time, and now we're heading to one of my finished properties. We actually just sold that property. We're waiting for it to close. It's in Hazel Park. So Hazel Park is not a subdivision of Detroit, but what do you call it?
Suburban?
Suburb, yeah, it's a suburb of
Yeah.
Detroit, right? So it's not really the city. It's its own little city by itself. A very nice, safe neighborhood again. You're looking mainly at bungalows in this area, sometimes with basements, sometimes without basements. But it's higher ARVs, right? So you're getting in at a low price. Usually there's not a lot of work to be done, but you're getting high ARVs. The crowd or the people who are buying these homes are a little bit younger, I would say, unlike Bagley, who are mainly mature, well-settled people. These are, I don't want to say hipsters, but hippie kind of people, like they're up and coming, right? So they're young, they got jobs, they can afford to buy these homes. It's a little bit of a lower. Bagley, we talked about in excess of $150,000. In Hazel Park, you're talking about between $100,000 and $125,000 to purchase a.
So, can you tell like a little bit about how much did you purchase it for, and
Sure.
how much did you put it in?
Sure. So this particular property that we're heading to, I bought it for $56,000, again through a wholesaler. So including wholesaling fees, closing costs, everything, total net was $56,000. I put in 20 grand. That's it. It was such an easy flip, really. I put in 20 grand.
Wow.
So I'm all in at 76. I sold this property for 125,000. So I'm about to net 45 grand on this house, 45 US.
That's
Which
super
is,
cool. And do you have a partner?
In this particular deal, I do have a partner. Yes, I do have a joint venture partner.
So
who's very happy at this point.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I just want to touch base a little bit on joint venture partner as well, because many people ask me how it works, right? So, how does that work? Like, what is the roles from your end, and what's the roles from your partner, and how do you split?
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Sure. So I can say in my joint ventures for my Detroit properties, my partners are really money partners, right? Because they basically don't have the time, or they don't have the want really to come to Detroit and do the sort of things that I do, right?
Yeah.
So, but they have money, right? They have full-time jobs, or they have a lot of savings that they want that money to work for them. So perfect, ideal type scenario where you have one person with the money and the other person with the expertise, right? So really I find the deals again through wholesalers who know exactly what I'm looking for, and then I present that to my partners. I say, listen, this is what we have now in inventory. Anybody's interested in this or not, and more often than not people want to come in, right? Now it all depends again on what the situation is. So I have partners on a deal where it's one partner that brings in all the money, right? Then I don't have to find any other partners. I have another deal that I do 3 ways. So I have 2 partners and myself that we split either the money or the expertise. I have one partner who doesn't have her entity, so she does it by her individual self, right? I have another partner who has a U.S. entity, so the joint venture agreement is between our U.S. companies. So there's a lot of ways that it can be done, it can be structured. My only advice is that you got to ask the questions to the person that you're about to deal with, and basically find out more information about that person, right? To get comfortable, because if there's a will, there's always a way to do so.
Yeah. And just curious, like roughly what would be the expected returns for the investor?
Typically, again, we are buying these properties, and I'm trying to get them flipped within 4 to 6 months. And what we've seen in 2018 for my partners, they are making on average 30% returns.
Wow! and that's in 6 months?
In my last year in 2018, the average time was 4 months. The market has changed a little bit in Detroit, so I don't like to oversell and underdeliver. So I say between 4 to 6 months, but yes, 30% in that.
That's super cool, especially for people who have money, but if they are keeping it in bank, just you're resting your money in the bank. What you're getting, like 3%, or the best.
Which bank is giving you 3%? Tell me that bank.
But like, imagine like if you have sitting money in the bank, what would it makes to your money, rather than if you're investing in something like, you know, whom you trust. Check out, do your due diligence, see.
Yeah.
Now your money is working for you, like 30%. It's crazy. Almost, I would say half of my when I was working my full-time job, it's like half of my salary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who the hell gonna, you know, pay me for like?
And I can tell you, Aditya, that most of my investors, like the people that I deal with now, it's not a big group of people, right? But I would say out of, let's say 10 of them, 8 of them are repeat investors, right? So they've done a deal with me, they've got their money back, they've seen the benefits of it, and they want to do a deal again the next time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They want to redo it. So definitely, you know, people see the benefits of that.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, also like some people ask me, if I'm bringing all the money, what are you doing? Can't I do all these things for myself? Why do I have to give you 50%? This kind of question I have asked by many people. One thing I told them is, let me know your thoughts on that. So a good friend of mine explained me this with a perfect example. So now imagine yourself like Savio is an active partner who is like a woman who is pregnant carrying the baby. So yes, you as an husband, yes, you're responsible, you are also reason for the baby, but who is carrying the baby for next 9 months and until the delivery, who is suffering that pain, right? So when I heard that story, man, that's so true. Like, finding a deal is not an easy thing. Finding the, you know, doing the analysis and doing all the due diligence and making sure the renovations go through it and contractors come on time. All these things, super time consuming things. Not everyone understands that. So, but at the end of the day, if you see a person who delivers the results, same results every time, then that's where you're going to have to put your money in.
I think I couldn't say it better myself. I love that analogy of carrying the baby. Yeah, absolutely, right? So, you know, as a man, you always look at your wife or your partner and you think that, you know, why are they so emotional, or, you know, what's the problem here?
Yeah, exactly.
But now that if I put myself in that situation of a joint venture, you know, and I'm the one carrying the baby, yes, there's a lot of work to do. And if you can do that, do it yourself, by all means, I would say that's the first thing you should do, right?
Exactly.
Why do you want to give up something that if you could do it yourself? But most people don't have the time, don't have the energy, don't have the want, really.
Exactly.
Right? But to still get high returns after that, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Absolutely. And also, like, our whole intention is for you guys to do it, because that's the reason we are showing all this information. Just in case if you don't want to do any of these things, that's when reach out to us.
Absolutely. And if you want to know how, then, you know, you have the perfect resource in Aditya and his channel, you know, where he's sharing everything, and you can, you know, the show notes, you can follow me as well. You know, we try to give you the truth about real estate investing, right? Not just the nice things or the good results at the end of it, right? Hard work will always give the good results, but don't forget there is hard work. There's always hard work, right?
Yeah.
So
that reminds me, Savio, just like a curious, do you have any like biggest challenge that you faced in your Detroit investing career?
You call it challenges, but I call it enrichments. You know?
I love that.
Because, you know, I've been my circumstances or my story here in Detroit is beautiful. I've been robbed, as I already told you in the last video. I've been sued by a contractor. I've sued the city of Detroit and won, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. You know, so, you know, I've gone through so many things here in Detroit. It's beautiful because for me it's all about it's a learning thing, right? You're paying, you may pay in money, but you get back so much in education by doing action that you would never get sitting in a classroom or reading a book or whatever, which you should do anyways. But at the end of the day, you got to go out there and do it, right? So challenges, you know, yeah, for sure. You saw the house last time. There's nobody working right now. Right?
Yeah.
So one of my biggest challenges, as I said before in my video, was that I have 1 week of non-work because my contractor decided to take a job that's paying better money for him, right? So this is what happens. This is reality. This is what happens. But at the same time, I found just through meetups again, somebody called me and said, hey, you know what? Home Depot is giving 11% discount on any purchases that you made on these particular dates. I went back and I looked at my bills. I bought more than $10,000 worth of stuff from Home Depot, and I'm getting 11% back on that. Right? So there's always an opportunity that comes from nowhere when you think you have a challenge. So mind for those things.
That's super true, right? Like whatever you want to do, definitely there will be roadblocks. There will be always some kind of challenges. Nothing is like a straight road. If it is a straight road, it will be boring.
Absolutely, it'll be boring. And we are a special breed of people, right? I mean, I heard my mentor was saying the other day that basically only 3% of people in the world, or sorry, not the world, in Canada, are entrepreneurs.
3%, seriously, like 3 out of 100.
Yeah, so like we are in that 3%, which is it's a small, really tiny bit. So if you're there, you're special. Just remember that.
Just be. Thank yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So we are in a property.
Yes, we are here.
Okay.
Do you want to restart or continue?
I'm gonna just we're gonna cut this part and we'll continue. Yeah, this area definitely looks different than.
Do you want to do the area first and then we go inside?
Sure.
Like we did last time?
Sure, or we can just take the house tour. We'll do a quick one because we already covered all the details.
Yeah.
I like this one. This one went very well. No, the car conversation. Like this one is super nice.
It's authentic, right? So.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome. So, this is a property that we purchased, I want to say we're in March. We purchased this in November last year. Okay, so this story was a little bit different. It's in Hazel Park, as I said. The homes are selling a little bit lower than we were in Bagley, but still good ARVs, $125,000. We sold this house, waiting for it to be closed. But you can see here, we redid this whole kitchen, completely gutted it, put in new cabinets, put in new granite, new tile, appliances in there. So I have a great contact for appliances if you need somebody who can get you at least 30% off Home Depot price straight because he knows the supplier. But not much we had to do in this house. We put in 20 grand, right? For 20 grand, we got the new kitchen. Right? We painted the whole house, we put in blinds, we redid all the floors, we did the whole bathroom. Again, tile you can see here, vanity. We glazed the tile, the backsplash tile, so you didn't have to replace that, right? What you didn't see outside was the roof. It's a brand new roof. We did that too, right? It's a 3-bedroom house, all for 20 grand. Not too bad.
That's actually very economical. Yeah, that's definitely like labor and the material sounds very economical when compared to Canada.
Yeah. We put in, we even put in a new AC.
Really? All these things for 20,000?
20,000, yeah. So, here's some video. So one thing personally that I don't like in Detroit, which we're used to back home, are the basements to be really finished. Our man caves are really nice, right? We have floor, we have finished walls, It's a full entertainment area downstairs. In Detroit, they don't do that for some reason, right? So it's just really the furnace. You have the laundry, and then you have maybe storage space. They don't live down here, which I don't like. But who knows? Maybe if the market requires it later, that's something that we can add to our flips.
Oh, it's a huge size actually.